The first sign that something was wrong came wrapped in politeness. A small envelope slid under her apartment door. No name, no return address, only a line typed in crisp black letters. Your keys won't work after Friday. Mara stared at it for a long time. The paper smelled faintly of her sister's perfume, lavender and spite. By Sunday evening, her father's number was disconnected. Her mother had gone offline for a bit, and the house she'd grown up in was listed for private lease under a new company name. One she didn't recognize. One her brother conveniently worked for. At first, she laughed. It was easier than screaming. By Monday, she packed a bag and left the city. The months that followed were quiet, too quiet. The world believed she'd folded, the way she always did. Her family sold her shares in the business she helped build. They forgot to forward her mail, her tax forms, her name from the office plaque. Her mother called once, saying it was for the best. Mara didn't argue, she just listened, memorizing every word. She took a job at a logistics firm 3 towns over. Data entry. Invisible work for invisible people. But each night, she sat at the cracked wooden table in her rented room and built something not from scratch, but from what was stolen. She traced company filings, asset transfers, shell accounts, all the places they'd buried her existence. She built spreadsheets like maps of betrayal, and every line LED, back to them. A year later, she returned. Not as Mara Vance, the discarded daughter. She came back as Lynn Hart, investment partner at a silent equity fund. Her new name carried no history, just a clean edge. The fund quietly acquired her family's supplier first, then their transport contractor. 2 months later, the marketing firm that handled their public relations. Piece by piece, she took the bones of their empire and wrapped them in silence. When the family finally noticed, it was too late. Her father's voice trembled when he called the board meeting. Her brother showed up late, sunglasses hiding the hangover of panic. Her mother wore pearls like armor. Mara sat across from them, calm as frost. Who are you? Her sister demanded. Mara smiled. Someone you once knew. Someone you thought was replaceable. Her brother leaned forward. What do you want? Her gaze didn't waver. Nothing that wasn't already mine. When the meeting ended, she didn't celebrate. Revenge wasn't sweet. It was quiet, the kind of peace that didn't need applause. She drove home in silence, past the city lights that once felt too bright for her name. In her rearview mirror, the reflection of the old house faded behind her. No calls came. No apologies followed, and that was enough. Because some victories aren't loud, they're the ones that happen in silence. When the world finally realizes the person it buried learned how to build wings. In the dark 3 years passed. The world went on, buildings rose, businesses folded, and the people who once looked down on Mara learned to lower their eyes. Her name, now printed in glossy magazines and whispered in boardrooms, had become a quiet legend. Lynn Hart, the woman who turned a dying logistics firm into one of the most efficient trade networks in the region. Nobody knew she was Mara Vance. Nobody dared ask. She lived in a house by the coast, now glass walls, silver sea, and air that smelled like rain and freedom. It was not luxury that moved her there, but distance. Distance from everything that had once tried to define her. Then one day, the past found her anyway. The knock came on a Thursday morning. 3 soft taps, polite but hesitant. She opened the door to find a young woman standing there, maybe 23, dark curls, nervous hands clutching a manila envelope. Miss Hart? The girl asked. My name's Elise. I work for Vance Global Transport. Mara's heart didn't flinch, but her fingers curled slightly against the doorframe. Vance, she repeated, tasting the name like a foreign word. Go on. They asked me to deliver this personally, the girl said, offering the envelope. It's from your mother. Mara almost smiled. Of course it is. Inside was a letter written in her mother's slanted cursive. The ink wavered in places, like someone had paused too long between words. Mara, I don't expect forgiveness. We lost more than we gained when we shut you out. Your father is gone. Your brother is in trouble with the law. Your sister's company barely stands. If you have any kindness left in you, please come home. I am tired of pretending I don't miss you, Mom. The paper trembled between her fingers, not from emotion, from the weight of memory. Mara placed the letter down, walked to the window, and stared at the sea. For years, she had imagined this moment, the apology that came too late, the voice that finally admitted guilt. But now that it was real, it didn't taste like victory. It tasted like dust. She drove home 2 days later. The Vance house stood the same, but smaller. The tall oaks still lined the driveway, though half their branches were dead. The porch light flickered weakly, a dying heartbeat. Her mother opened the door herself. Her hair had turned white, her eyes tired but soft. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then, her mother whispered, "You look like her." Mara frowned. "Like who?" "Like the daughter I used to have." The words landed heavier than intended. They sat in the living room, the same one where the family once plotted her removal, sipping champagne over betrayal. The portraits on the walls seemed to watch them silently. Her mother spoke first. "I know I have no right to ask for help. But the company is collapsing. Your brother, he made terrible deals. Your sister's gone bankrupt. We're losing everything." Mara tilted her head, calm and distant. "Everything you took?" Her mother's eyes filled. "We thought we were protecting ourselves. But I see now we were just afraid of how much we needed you." Silence spread between them. Mara could feel the ache in her chest, old pain, stitched with pride. Then she said quietly, "You built your walls out of me. Now they're falling." Her mother wiped her tears. "Will you save us?" Mara stood slowly, walked to the old family portrait, and ran her fingers across the glass. Her younger self smiled, their bright-eyed, naive, unaware that someday she'd become a ghost to her own blood. She turned back to her mother. "I'll buy the company," she said finally. "Not to save you. To rebuild it right." Her mother nodded, small and trembling. "And me?" Mara hesitated. "You, live what's left of your life. I've already lived mine without you." The deal was signed within weeks. Vance Global Transport became Heart Logistics International, a name that carried both past and future. Her brother disappeared overseas. Her sister sold her mansion. Her mother stayed in the old house, writing letters Mara never answered. Mara didn't destroy them. She kept every one in a drawer she never opened. Sometimes, late at night, she'd sit by the window overlooking the sea, a cup of black coffee in her hands, and wonder if forgiveness was ever meant for people like her. People who won but at the cost of silence. People who learned that revenge doesn't end when the enemy falls. It ends when the anger does. But for Mara, it hadn't ended yet. It just learned to whisper instead of scream. The sea outside Mara's home never changed, always shifting, always calm. Success no longer thrilled her. Silence no longer hurt. One morning, a final envelope arrived. No company seal, no signature, just her name, written in her mother's faint handwriting. She opened it slowly. Inside was a single line: "I kept your room the way you left it. Just in case." Mara closed her eyes. The wind from the ocean carried the scent of salt and memory. For the first time in years, she felt something soften inside her, not forgiveness, not regret, just understanding. She walked to the shore as the sun rose, the letter folded in her palm, and then, without ceremony, she let it go. The paper drifted on the water, curling, sinking until the waves took it. Mara stood there for a long while, barefoot in the sand, watching the horizon. She didn't smile, didn't cry, but when she turned back toward her house, her steps were lighter, because the past was finally behind her, and this time, it stayed there. The end. 日出